I want $30,000 and a helicopter ride to Mexico. I've killed before. I'm not afraid to do it again. I will shoot to kill police officers on sight.
Police are trained to respond to every call with urgency. But when the caller is lying, like in the 911 recording we just heard, law enforcement becomes a pawn in a dangerous and expensive hoax. Swatting relies on simple and widely available technology to disguise a caller's identity. Disposable cell phones, internet call services, and even number-disguising apps make it increasingly difficult for police to track down these pranksters.
You're gonna give me this fucking money. People are gonna fucking die if you don't. That is all I have to say. Good motherfucking bye.
This is 911. What's going on?
I shot him in the head and he's not breathing anymore. I already poured gasoline all over the house. I might just set it on fire.
Do you have any weapons on you?
Yeah, I do.
Police raced to the address the caller gave them. Completely unaware of that 911 call, 28-year-old Andrew Finch opened his front door. Police say that when he lowered his hands, one officer, fearing he had a weapon, opened fire, killing Finch. A police investigation showed that Finch, who was unarmed, had nothing to do with that 911 call and had no apparent connection to Barris.
Coming out with one! You pull the door, I get it.
They're dead.
Going mini? Where's the bum?
I'm holding mini P. Bomb's down by T-Red.
Daps is a ramp player and Lex plays
He's
what?
locker, he's locker. Locker and up secret. Locker and by T-Red, by T-Red.
What the fuck, Jordan?
This guy was locked.
Damn, dude.
There are 4 cops in Jordan's room right now, apparently.
No fucking way.
Yeah. With rifles.
What?
There are 4 cops in Jordan's room.
What the SWAT of me is my job, is streaming video games. People don't like what I do. They get my information, call the cops.
Something happened, like, outside my house just right now. Like, in my backyard. The cop is, like... I can't concentrate right now, guys. The police is, like, literally in my backyard. There's what? 4? Where? In the front? It's not funny. Shut up. Quit laughing. Hold up, man. Like, just, what's happening?
Oh my god, dude. Lance.
Told you, man.
They called and said that we were threatening some guy with a knife.
There is 3 cop cars and about 7 policemen.
Please get on the ground! Please get on the ground!
Alright, okay.
Please, let's see your hands!
I got my hands behind my head.
Get on the ground now!
Okay, man, I'm getting on the ground.
What the hell?
I think he's getting swatted.
One thing I want to make very clear, it is not a prank. I hate when swatting and prank is in the same sentence. It's attempted murder. They call the police and they say so many horrible things. The first time, thank God, the first time I got swatted, my address was leaked and they posted on Craigslist that there's a TV I don't want, come pick it up, first come, first serve. And they also sent a bunch of pizzas to my house. And they also called the police saying there were shots fired. So as the pizza guy and Craigslist lady was there, the police came as well. Third time, the police took it very seriously. They came with the whole brigade with the guns drawn and everything because the swatter, pretending to be me, said, I killed my girlfriend already. I was going to kill myself, but before I do that, any police that show up, I'm going to kill them too. How is that a prank? You're telling police officers, pretending to be me, that I'm going to kill them, giving them my information, my address, so they're coming to my house on edge. The police officers are already on edge as it is. And you're threatening their life as me. Or whoever the victim is when it comes to swatting. I feared that it was going to keep escalating, and hopefully the police, like, there's a course or something. I don't know. There needs to be something different. Something needs to change. Because it's like, I think the thing that needs to change is these people, these fucking losers are getting caught left and right now. But instead of a slap on the wrist, this guy needs to go away. This guy needs to go away for a long time. Never have the internet again. Everyone involved needs to be punished. It's not a prank. Alright, and it doesn't just, it's not a prank for 2 seconds. It's not over in 2 seconds after the police leave. It stays with you, okay?
Get out and that
Come on! Come on! I'm pushing you. Come on! Guys, put it out! Let's go!
I said, shake, ride and roll.
Man, we still got some
TV, baby. Fuck. You never do nothing to save your doggone soul.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
Wearing those dresses, hair done up so nice. Wearing those dresses, your hair done
Holy
up so
shit!
nice.
Fuck! Hear me!
You look so warm, but your heart is cold
What inspires you to make that kind of phone call?
Well, there's no inspiration. I don't just get bored and sit around and, decide that I'm gonna make a SWAT call. That's never. There's no inspiration. It doesn't just come from boredom. I mean, so I don't think anyone ever just does it randomly for no reason whatsoever.
What was your reason this time?
Well, people were sending money to have that done, so.
What are you trying to achieve when you make a swatting call? If it's not the outcome we saw here, obviously, what are you going for?
Well, the goal, I mean, if you ask anyone who is familiar with swatting, I mean, typically the goal is to just generate, some sort of law enforcement response, big or small, I guess. For the most part, people are attempting to go for a large response, which is why the term swatting is used, because they're attempting to, successfully have SWAT team dispatched, which I wouldn't even say is what happens. It's just usually a large law enforcement response, police department, but yeah, so. As far as the goal, that's just it.
Is there anything that you want to say while you've got a chance here with us? We can certainly pass that along maybe to that family of Mr. Finch or to just people in general, as this has been followed by people all over the world.
Well, I mean, of course, I feel a level of remorse for what happened. I never intended for, anyone to get shot and killed. I don't think during any attempted swatting that someone's intentions are for someone to get shot and killed. I guess they're just going for like that shock factor or whatever it is, for whatever reason that someone's even doing that, attempting a SWAT or whatever you want to call it. But no one. I don't. That's not. That's never the goal. That's never the intent. You're never looking for someone to lose their life over a swatting, because I guess it is known as, a prank. A lot of people call. I don't really look at it. I wouldn't call it a prank. But yeah, it is always a hoax call, and the intentions are never for someone to get shot and killed ever. So obviously that was a tragic event.
You never
Beginning with the war on drugs, and after national tragedies like Columbine and 9/11, the U.S. has seen a surge in militarization and funding of SWAT teams in counties large and small. Over the last decade, the Department of Homeland Security alone has given away $35 billion in grants to state and local police.
Since 1996, in response to the war on drugs, the Department of Defense transferred $4.3 billion in military equipment to local and state police. After 9/11, the Department of Homeland Security made additional equipment available to local law enforcement through federal funds for terrorism prevention.
That's right. And this has happened on such a scale that it's enabled small towns like Keene, New Hampshire, to apply for a Bearcat, a military-grade armoured personnel truck, which they needed because, as their application argued, the terrorism threat is far-reaching and often unforeseen, and cited as a possible target their annual pumpkin festival. Specifically, this pumpkin festival, which is now being protected by this. And good luck easily outmanoeuvring that, teenagers with baseball bats. If you are a cop in the United States, you should dress for the job you have, not the job you want. Because if you have all this equipment, it's going to go to your head. Look at Doraville, Georgia. Population 8,500. The police there got a tank a while back, and up until a few days ago, this video was on the front page of their website.
We apply for every grant. If there's a grant and we can get money for it, we'll apply for it. So we've applied Homeland Security money. We'll show you the Lenco Bear, our armored assault rescue vehicle. Infrared cameras and pole cameras and shields and stuff like that. We get a lot of that with grant money. Bear we use on every call out.
Really?
The Bear, yes. I think it stands for Ballistic Engineered Assault Rescue Vehicle. Lenco company up in Pittsfield, Massachusetts designs it. Here it is right there.
Damn.
It's roughly a $400,000 machine. We never would have been able to make that purchase if we didn't apply for Homeland Security money.
Aside from Homeland Security grants that encourage local police departments to buy military-grade hardware for their own SWAT units, the U.S. government has for years given away this technology for free to combat the war on drugs and domestic terrorism. SWAT teams were originally formed to handle violent civil unrest, shootouts, and hostage rescues. But with increased access to paramilitary equipment, the U.S. has seen a dramatic rise in the use of these tactics for low-risk warrants and non-violent drug raids as well. It's estimated the number of raids conducted by SWAT teams has gone from 3,000 a year in the 1980s to over 50,000 raids a year today. We can't be sure, as most states don't even disclose the frequency with which they deploy these forces. Despite the abundant resources for tactical gear, the real problem facing law enforcement is that most departments don't have experts trained in cybersecurity to help police analyze and track down fraudulent 911 calls. There's a potential now for an increase in false reports, and I'm sure, every time you guys get these calls, you're wired up, you're good to go. Do you think if there's a lot of these, is it going to change how you guys respond to certain calls?
I think our response protocol is going to have to be tightened up, tweaked a little bit. I'm hoping maybe legislation on either the state or national level and focusing on this from an investigative and prosecutorial standpoint will help to abate it and cause it to stop. But if it doesn't, we're certainly going to have to look at the way we respond, the way we dispatch our team, maybe a little closer analysis of the initial call when it comes in to make sure it's a real call. They're going to have to really analyze that call and maybe put devices in place to say, is this a real job or is this a case of swatting, which I hope stops.
You guys are like a machine. Like, we've seen the way you guys move, the way you fire. Everyone here is trained top notch. Some people might look at this and look at Somerset County and say, is all this necessary? I mean, you guys have, these robots and these tanks and whatever, and like top notch kits. And they might look at it and say, do we really need this in suburban New Jersey? How would you address those people? I
would ask somebody that maybe suffered a loss because of not having this service, and I would focus on them and ask them to answer that question, I would say.
What about in terms of law enforcement actually catching the people that are doing this? You see every now and then, a 16-year-old will get busted here, or a 15-year-old there. They're having a really hard time catching these people, huh?
They do have a hard time catching people in general with it, because people who have been doing this now, they sort of know, well, the way that we need to do it is we need to disguise where this call is coming from. The hacker economy is very much that, an economy. And so there are people there who are willing to sell kind of pre-built malware and pre-built boxes that do certain malicious things that really you only have to click a box, or you download software and click a button and it's ready to go.
And this is just sort of actually a small front in this battle between good hackers, bad hackers, law enforcement. That just doesn't seem like it's ever going to stop.
It's very difficult, especially for the good guys, because if you're doing defense, you have to kind of protect everything, and you have to protect it against sort of all possible ways somebody can get in.
In an age where a teenager with a cell phone can incite chaos, there is no doubt authorities need to re-examine their strategy in combating technology with brute force.